You're listening to the Second Opinion Podcast. This podcast has been brought to you by Second Opinion Productions. Gaming is our passion. Podcasting is our profession. Make sure to check us out at secondopinionpod.com.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Second Opinion Podcast, episode number 186. I am Celeb, and I'm here to talk about some awesome news today. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and get down into what you've been drinking, what you've been gaming. Gaming-wise, I have been playing a ton of video games. I've just finished the review of Call of Duty World War II. You can check that out at youtube.com/Second Opinion Pod. You can also soon check out my review of The Evil Within 2. It has been completed, and I really enjoyed the game. There's a couple of problems that I do talk about in the review, so make sure to check that out as well. And hopefully I'll have my review for the Wolfenstein 2 very soon. I'm getting a little bit closer to the end. I have also been kind of experimenting with the Episode 0 DLC. And I'm getting ready for Star Wars Battlefront 2, which comes out in just a couple of days. Anybody that pre-ordered it, they get it early. I think it's about 3 days early. And if you're on Xbox, you already have it available on EA Access. So that's a pretty awesome thing. Beer-wise, I have been drinking the Shiner Holiday Cheer Dark Wheat Ale. It's brewed with Texas peaches and pecans, and it's a really, really nice beer, so make sure to check that out. So this is a little bit of a different episode. We have a couple of things that we usually don't really talk about on the podcast. Most of the times I try to keep it as related to gaming as possible, but it's some pretty big news, so I want to kind of get down into that. So Rian Johnson, it has been announced that he will direct and help create a new Star Wars trilogy. This Star Wars trilogy is said to possibly be releasing in 2021 or 2022. It's obviously it's going to release after Episode 9. There's also the standalone. I don't think the Boba Fett movie is still happening, but I think the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is still happening, so they still have that as well that they have to get done with. But this is a really big deal. This is a new trilogy, and it also is said that there's a possibility it's going to be set in the Old Republic. This is something that a lot of gamers have really wanted, especially since the Star Wars Old Republic video game done by Obsidian. A lot of gamers out there and a lot of just like geeks in general have wanted a movie based in the Old Republic. I would love to see it. I would totally watch it. But at the same time, there's part of me that really hopes that they don't do that and they kind of focus on some other characters that are possibly in the universe as of now. I'm really excited for The Last Jedi. I do plan on seeing it on December 15th, or actually December 14th at 7 o'clock. So pretty stoked about that. Topic number 2, Harry Potter Wizards Unite is coming to your mobile devices. It is from the developers of Pokemon Go. It is going to be somewhat of the same style game. There's going to be different dragons and stuff like that you can like either capture and do things here and there. There's also going to be like wizards you can come up and about and do things with or whatever else. This is a pretty big thing. I don't really know exactly how they're going to play it. I know that they said it's going to have similarities with Pokemon Go. But I mean, it would be pretty cool if you could just like maybe you and someone else, if you're walking down the same area or something like that, you bump into each other, you can have like this wizard battle over your phone. So Harry Potter Wizards Unite is coming very soon. I think it's coming in 2018. So I'm sure TJ is probably excited about that. He's a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm definitely going to check it out whenever it does come out as well. And finally, the news that I have been waiting for many a year. I cannot believe that this is possibly going to happen. EA's CEO has stated that a non-annual sports title is a possibility. There's a very big chance that we are finally going to see a separation of some of these sports games. It is not, I've said it so many times. Instead of having these games release every year, do them bi-yearly and have an update to the roster packs. Support your game more. instead of having it called Madden 18, say, Madden 18 to 19 or something. I don't know, man. Call it something and then support it. Do a huge download of, or if you have to, do like a 5 to 10 gigabyte download to where you have to, add new characters to the roster or whatever else, dude. I mean, just, it's ridiculous that it's coming out every year, because I think they're starting to run out of ideas of different things to add into Madden. I mean, I wish it was just like it was back in the day, to where instead of it being something that they add in every year and there's new features here, there's new features there. Go off of the last year's game, fix the things that were broken, update the graphics, and add new rosters, and that's it. You don't have to add all this new stuff. It's like there's new slow mode zoom in feature to where when you're running down the field, it zooms into your character's face and it really shows, the personality of what your character has. We've never had anything like this in Madden before. It's like, come on, bro. I just want to play football. I just want to play a football game that doesn't have all these different controls and all this different stuff. I remember there was one year, I think it was Madden 2014 or 2013 or something. They had a rewind mode to where, like, whenever you were in the middle of the game, if you made a really horrible decision, you had it set to where, like, every player, it was like you against your brother or you against your sister or whatever, each one of you had like one rewind to where you can just like start over on the play, and it was totally ridiculous. I mean, it's not realistic at all, and I really hope that this helps them. I think it could kind of help them like it did with the Assassin's Creed series. I think people are finally starting to understand with the Assassin's Creed series of why I didn't purchase this new one. I don't really feel this new Assassin's Creed is an Assassin's Creed game. I don't feel the last two have been Assassin's Creed games. I think, as I've said multiple times, I think the whole Assassin's Creed aspect of Assassin's Creed died off on Assassin's Creed 3. I know a lot of people don't really care. They think there's tons of different characters in the universe of Assassin's Creed. But, Desmond Miles, he had such a wonderful story, his character design and everything. I just loved everything about it, and it just really died for me after that. So hopefully this is going to help EA as well. So, last topic of the night. DICE reveals The Last Jedi Season DLC for Battlefront 2. As a lot of people were really worried about this whenever this first announced, they were thinking, wait a second, is this something we're going to have to pay for? This is something that will be free. EA has stated that all the DLC for Battlefront 2 will be free, including the Last Jedi single-player content that will be released a little bit later on, hopefully this year after the movie comes out. So all the DLC packs, like all the level packs, all that other stuff is all going to be free. And this is a really big thing, and actually something that I kind of forgot about. I had actually totally forgot that they had this planned. And it's really exciting to know that there's going to be a lot of support for this game after launch. I'm just super stoked, man. That's the best thing I could really say about that. But real quick, I just want to take a moment to say how much I appreciate all you guys for coming back week after week, listening to the podcast, listening to my reviews and everything else. I know that I've not always been on the most consistent basis of things with Second Opinion. Over the last couple of years, things have just really, really sped up. Life in general has really sped up. And if it wasn't, either getting married or Dara getting pregnant or us moving into a house or a furnace breaking or a garage door breaking or this or this or this, it was always one thing after another that was kind of holding me back from the website. I'm really trying to rededicate as much time as I possibly can to the website. And I know I haven't really done that recently, but I really do. It really does help whenever I do get feedback from you guys of what you want me to do, how you want me to fix the podcast, how you want me to fix some of the video content that I do. And speaking of video content that I do, we did the review for Call of Duty World War II. It was a fantastic game. I think it definitely has probably one of the best zombie modes on this game that I've ever played. The multiplayer is good. It does have a couple of server issues here and there, but the times that I do play or have played the multiplayer, I've had a very fun time. The story mode is probably one of the best things about it. In the review, I do talk about my grandfather as well, Colonel Charles Afton Gale. He was over the 12th Air Force out of Waco. He was also the project commander over the F-111 project. He fought in World War II as well. And he was just an overall great man. And, with Veterans Day just recently happening, I just want to say, I appreciate everything he's ever done or he ever did for me and my family, of putting food on the table for my dad and my aunts and uncles and all that. And I love you very much. It's just crazy to even think that people put their life on the line so we can do things that we're doing right now. Me sitting here on this podcast talking about something that I'm passionate about with games and whatever else, we're able to do this because these people that go out and, they put their life on the line every day, and we really need to give thanks for what we have. So happy belated Veterans Day to anybody that has served this country. I appreciate you more than you would ever know. And lastly, I do want to talk about this. This is a pretty big thing. It's pretty upsetting as well, in my personal opinion. Electronic Arts has acquired Respawn Entertainment, the creators of Titanfall. They have bought Titanfall. EA, under the agreement, EA will pay a total of $151 million in cash and up to $164 million in a long-term restricted contract for employees and so on and so forth. I'm just so freaking upset about this, man. I'm so upset about this. With Jason West and Vince Zampel, they've also came out and said, we're still Respawn. There's nothing that's going to change. But we all know EA's history. We all know how things go when EA buys these companies. And I don't understand it, man. I hope that 3-4 years down the road, Respawn is still here and we're like, hey, you know what? We were wrong about EA. They kept Respawn alive because they had a successful video game series. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I really do believe EA has this complex of getting these studios, publishing their games and them coming out and being really good games or at least subpar games and then closing them down, man. And I mean, I would need EA to prove me wrong. I mean, I can't tell you guys how upset I am about this. Titanfall 1, I was not a big fan of. Titanfall 2 is probably one of the best games out in quite some time. And that's where EA, I think, is breaking off of this whole free DLC thing for Star Wars Battlefront 2 because, Titanfall 2, there's payable DLC, but most, all the main level packs and upgrade packs and all that other stuff, they're all free for everybody. And it's just so upsetting, dude. It's so weird because me and TJ were just talking about this on the recent Grillin' and Chillin' of how I could see them going out and buying another studio and shutting them down. And, here we are again, them buying a studio. I don't know if it's just the fact of monopolizing the stuff or just saying, hey, I'm buying all these studios so we can get the rights to their IPs and then we can create the games however we want to create them. I'm just not, when Titanfall 3 comes out, which I'm sure it's going to because of the success of Titanfall 2, I don't have a good feeling about it. Let's just say that. I have a feeling that it is going to be littered with microtransactions or it's going to be littered with something. And it's going to be all EA's fault. I don't know what else to say. So, that's it, man. That's really kind of it. No, you know what? We have 2 more topics that we can talk about just real quick. Make the podcast just a tad bit longer. Disney is working on the Star Wars Marvel